as we all know, in the medicine, the use of chemotherapy for cancer can be quite deleterious to the health of a person who is having it. This is because the chemo, quote unquote, therapy or therapeutic drug, they are very toxic. They are designed to kill malignant cells, but in the process, they also have an impact on normal cells as well, and the normal cells of the entire body of the person having the chemo. We have a client, a friend in fact, who has multiple myeloma, and he is in his, I believe, early 50s, and because of his age, his oncologists are doing everything possible to see if they can help his condition. Now, the condition itself, multiple myeloma, is known in medicine as incurable. So I suppose the best hope they are hoping for is to secure a good sustained remission of his condition. Now, my work with him has been to use hypnosis to redress the downsides of his chemo on his personhood and well-being. I will remember that after his first chemo, when he came to see me, I was really quite distressed to see him the way he was. And since that time, we have been doing our best to help him along with the consequences of his chemo. Now, today, we have a lady by the name of Margaret Marsan, who knew about my work with our patient, whose name is Tom Ewing. And Margaret is here to interview him about what good I have been able to get for Tom by working with him through hypnosis.
Hello, Tom.
Hello, Margaret.
Yeah. First, let me say how great you look.
Thank you.
It is like a miracle. Your face is filled out. Your coloring. You're yourself. Funny, and full of life. And I feel more strength from you than I have over the last few months. You look great.
Thank you.
But if I may, I'd like to take you back to June of this year.
Okay.
Yeah, and I remember I saw you at that time, and I was in shock.
Both of us were in shock.
I was in shock. You looked gravely ill.
And I was.
I was very, very concerned. You had lost a lot of weight. Your coloring, your spirit, everything. You looked like you were at death's door. You really did.
That's a pretty good close analogy.
Yes, you really did. But anyway, could you tell me how you were feeling at that time, and what has happened to bring you to how you are today? Looking just wonderful. Yeah.
It's been quite a journey. This whole problem had started around June, I believe 18th. I finally admitted myself to Trafalgar Memorial Hospital due to the nose was bleeding all the time. I was losing weight, and the energy levels, hemoglobins, everything was just dropping off the scale. So there was a problem that I knew, and I went to the hospital. They did a battery of tests to find that there was a major problem with the cancer, multiple myeloma. At that point, how I felt was I was continually losing weight, and they had come with the diagnosis that there was a process of chemo that they were going to start administering, heavy-duty steroids, radiation because there was a mass, a lump coming from my chest. So at that point I was in between physically beaten, I was emotionally beaten up, and psychologically beaten to the point where I didn't know where I was doing. I was afraid to go to sleep even, because every time I woke up in the middle of the night I was bleeding, and now that I knew that there was a problem, it was a horrific time of my life. And at that point I was already known Dennis for years, and we'd become very close friends, and I had mentioned to him, and they've come and visited me in the hospital, and as I found out that day I was able to tell them. And so I was at the most bottomless pit that I could imagine at that point. And immediately, even in the hospital, Dennis had pulled me aside, and we started to do some hypnosis, and we started to work on some of the areas that were painful in my body. Right away, as soon as I began this hypnosis, there was a sense of well-being and a little less of the pain and the strain and the stress that was going on in my system. So at that point, there was still a long journey of 4 months, of 4 cycles of chemotherapy, and after each chemo, it was the same thing. I'd build up to a point where I was getting better and feeling a little more strength in my body, and then I'd do the chemo, and in 2-3 days, I was feeling really down, not being able to get off the couch, no energy, no zest of life, no nothing. I told Dennis this, we would do the hypnosis, and all I could ever remember in the hypnosis is that we were going deeper and deeper into remembering the higher self and this light of God that he kept directing me to. In each session, as I came out of this, I felt more alive. No pain was attached to the back and to the bones, and my days would level off to the point where I would go to chemo feeling good. I would come out of chemo feeling good. So there was definitely some work that was done from within that was showing itself up as being healing itself and bringing itself back to its powerful being again. So it was quite an extraordinary part. And as Dennis had opened up his schedule and allowed me to come after chemo for so many weeks, after a certain point we were working on other issues that were coming up with the different areas of this myeloma, until the point where they put in an actual PIP, which is going to be used for the next process for stem cell. I mentioned to him that there was a major pain and feel like somebody was poking me in the neck, which there is a line put right into my main vein, into the main artery, or the main vein in my neck here. After a session of hypnotherapy where he took me inside and remembering the higher self and the light of God and connecting me to that, I'd come back out and back on my feet again, going, hey, no problem, let's get back into it. So,
do you feel that you wouldn't be like you are today without the hypnosis?
Yeah, it's kind of like what Dennis has shown me, that if you're directed in a proper fashion, in the way that is going to allow itself to appear, you cannot force anything of this power, of this magnitude to, we don't tell God what to do, we obey what God is to give us to do. So.
But you were already aware of this, of the higher self and the light of God.
Yes.
But for people that don't know that they know this and how to reach this this power,
Right.
how would they find it if they don't know that they know how to find it?
Well, if they don't know to know, they're going to basically be kind of searching on their own with a hit and miss sort of a percentage. In all the years that I've been doing this and reading everything, I knew about it as being something that's there, and the gurus of all the spirituality have said that through meditations and through that. But I've done meditations and I've done all the CDs, but it's there, but it was never connected to it, even though it's there. So the only way that I can see it being done is through proper techniques of hypnosis by a professional master.
Wouldn't it be wonderful if in the hospitals, people that did have cancer and were having chemo, the different treatments, that there was somebody there that was able to do this?
Yeah, I think if more knew that there was an alternative position already in play where if someone is saying, well, I can reverse a cancer, and it's not the technician that's doing it, all the technician does is help you, lead you
That's
to
right,
that higher
that's
self
right.
that is in everyone,
Yeah,
then you have something that
Yeah.
will be able to
Yeah.
do something. So again, it's nothing that we can come up with and do, it's there, but you have to have some direction on how to get to that level to allow it to open itself up and be there for us,
that's
yeah.
wonderful. Well, it's like you have, your appearance has changed completely
Oh, yes.
over the last 4 months, and usually I've known a lot of people
Mhm.
that have cancer or have had cancer, and when they started the chemotherapy, they just went down,
Yeah.
they lost weight, their colour changed,
Yeah, I
and
can
you
see
have just,
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people that I've started with there, and they seem to kind of go down more and more.
down,
They try-
down, and you have come up,
Yeah,
you have come up.
Yeah, it's been quite.
Well, this is just wonderful,
Yeah, it's
it
been very
really
good,
is.
yes, I've been very fortunate.
And I know you're not finished yet, and I
Mhm.
know you have, more to do.
Yes,
And I wish you all the best, and
thank you.
and I know you're going to do it, and I look forward to interviewing you again
Oh, great.
in the not too distant future,
Mhm.
and you're going to tell me that the doctors have given you a clean bill of health,
Yes.
and that your disease will
Mhm.
stay in remission.
Right, it'll be celebration
It will
all
be a
around.
celebration, and we'll party.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Sounds good, thank you. All
Okay,
right.
well, thank you, Tom.
All right.
It's been a pleasure
Thank you.
interviewing